Hey guys, welcome back to AdLib Talk, and this is my review for Spiderhead. Before we start with this review, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoy it, and please do consider subscribing. So, Spiderhead is a science fiction thriller movie directed by Joseph Kosinski, written by Rhett, Reese, and Paul Wenick, whose script is based on the short story written by George Saunders called Escape from Spiderhead, starring Chris Hemsworth, Miles Teller, and Jurnee Smollett. Now, the movie released today, and I can instantly say that whilst it is a fascinating watch at times, I was rather disappointed by the whole rather than most of its parts. Steve Abnesti is the warden of a prison unlike any other you've seen in your life. This is a prison in which convicts have accepted to take part in drug tests. These drugs achieve different functions, such as causing extreme happiness, laughter, relaxation, but even extreme pain. Now, the drugs are attached onto the convict's back and used during tests, which Steve and his trusty assistant observe and record. This premise is a fascinating one I which the writers and director delved more into. Now, our main protagonist is Jeff. As we discovered through flashbacks, Jeff is serving time because of a car crash and DUI. He's one of the convicts who is asked to acknowledge permission for the drug to be administered to him. Here we see the feigning of free will, as if the convicts actually have the choice to refuse, with free will being one of the obvious main themes of this movie. However, Jeff slowly starts to discover that obviously not all is right with the seemingly nice Steve, who kind of starts to pit Jeff and his friend/lover Lizzie against each other for the ultimate test of the drug's power. So you might be thinking, all of this sounds like a fascinating sci-fi setting and premise. How could this possibly not be an incredibly interesting watch? Unfortunately, the movie has a number of issues. First and foremost being that despite the movie being 1 hour and 40 something minutes long, it still feels a little too long. That is a worrying thing for a movie so short, and when I discovered that this was based on a number of short stories, I could instantly tell why. The whole concept had to be expanded and stretched out, and in doing so, any kind of tension that was built at the start of the movie completely died out by the time we reached the movie's climax. It's sad to say, but it is actually kind of boring. Once the novelty of the movie's concept died down, it turned more into a romance rather than a sci-fi and a thriller, and this is when my interest in what was going on truly dissipated. And this could be felt especially in the writing, given that the movie completely fails to expand on the concept of testing drugs on people, on the concept of prison, and whether there are other options to the prison system in America, and seeing these drugs used on people as if they are guinea pigs. Instead, the movie decides to focus more on Jeff's personal woes, together with his new love interest, Lizzie. These are just not compelling enough compared to the potential compelling themes we had. Now, that's not to say that performances are poor here, because I thought that Miles Teller as Jeff was decent enough, nothing to write home about, but Teller is a talented actor and he does get the job done. He portrays his character's pain from his past quite well. Chris Hemsworth as Steve Abnesti, on the other hand, is a problem in a certain sense. Now, I know Chris Hemsworth will pull in the people and he'll probably be the main reason why this movie does well on Netflix. However, Hemsworth's character, clearly being the antagonist, is testing drugs on people. Now, Hemsworth is a supremely charismatic actor made for roles like Thor. Taking this role of the antagonist was a great idea on paper. Unfortunately, the execution leaves a little to be desired, as I never felt any kind of threat from him. He plays it out as more of a kind of charismatic antagonist with a false personality. He knows he's doing bad, but he hides it behind of the facade of a nice guy. Unfortunately, this role required a touch more of the evil side of Chris Hemsworth's character to come out to remind us that this guy is actually a threat. This issue especially crops up in the climax of the movie, which is also probably the worst part of this whole thing, and in which the absence of said threat truly brings out the lack of tension present in the latter stages of this movie. Now, the movie did a good job maintaining a certain serious tone throughout most of its running time. Yes, there are some tongue-in-cheek scenes here and there with music playing a part and some dancing and so on. But overall, I mean, testing drugs on people, forcing people to have sex with each other, or forcing people to have extreme pain are serious things. However, the last 15 to 20 minutes of this movie divulge into one of the weirdest action sequences I have ever seen, almost completely ruining the movie. I cannot emphasize enough how bad this movie's ending is. Something went wrong either in the writing department or else in the execution by director Joseph Kosinski. Something went awry, because it really is that bad. Obviously, I'm not going to give more details because of spoilers, but I really cannot emphasize enough how bad it is. Overall, the movie is well shot and the cinematography works fine. You can tell Kosinski is a talented director, especially when it comes to those wide shots, which we saw and enjoyed so much in Top Gun Maverick. However, I feel that these wide shots sort of ruined that feeling of claustrophobia that a series like Severance, for example, achieves so well, and which I wish we got more of in this movie, or something sort of like we got in Ex Machina, for example. And indeed, throughout the whole movie, I was thinking of how superior Severance and Ex Machina were as sci-fi productions compared to this. Whether it was in the complexity and depth of the exploration of its themes, whether it's in the dialogue, the cinematography, there is simply no comparison. This is not to say that Spiderhead is a bad movie. It's still a relatively enjoyable 1 hour and 40-something minute movie that you can watch on Netflix. But unfortunately, I feel that this premise had so much potential which could have been expanded and turned into a much superior sci-fi movie than what we actually got. Therefore, my rating for Spiderhead is a 2.5 out of 5, and my suggestion to watch only if you really enjoy watching Chris Hemsworth movies, or else are a big fan of sci-fi movies and have finished watching movies which are superior like Ex Machina, or a series which again is much superior like Severance. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that review, and if you did, as always, don't forget to leave a like on this video and please do consider subscribing. Also, let me know, have you watched Spiderhead, and if you did, what did you think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. Cheers, and I'll see you guys next time right here on Ad Lib Talk.